All right, so let's suppose that you would like to buy a home. The way that happens for most people is to go to a bank or a mortgage company and to get a mortgage loan to purchase that home. Most people don't walk into closing with a suitcase full of cash and toss it on the table and say, give me this house. So most people go to a mortgage company to borrow the money, and then they pay it back over 15 to 30 years. In order to do that, you have to qualify, though. You have to qualify. The bank, the mortgage company, they kind of care about getting paid back. And so they would like to know that you qualify, that you're in a good position to pay them back what they lend you. One of the components that they use to determine your qualification is a credit score. Now, there's a lot of credit scoring methodologies out there, but one of the most common credit scores is the FICO credit score, which ranges anywhere from 300 on the low end to 850 on the high end. And there's a lot of components that go into that score, from things like, how long you've had credit, how much you manage your credit. In other words, do you max everything out as soon as you get it and leave it maxed out for years? Or do you pay down balances? Are you paying more than the minimum payment? Are you making your payments on time? All of these factors go into play in determining your credit score. Generally speaking, if you wanted to qualify for a conventional traditional mortgage, you would need a credit score of about 620 or higher. That's kind of your traditional line. There are some programs that allow you to qualify even below that, some governmental programs like first-time home buyers and things like this. But 620 is generally the line where you want to be. So here's what you need to think about if you're looking to qualify and maybe you're not at 620. Number one, you maybe should wait to buy a home. A lot of times it's much more expensive to own a home than it is to buy a home. Think about what I just said there. Owning a home can be very expensive. You own a home and your air conditioning unit goes out. You have a water leak that's not covered by your insurance. These things are expensive to fix, and if you own the home, it's on you to fix that. And so just buying a home is one thing, right? The down payment, the closing costs, but can you also afford to own that home? To fix things as they come up. If you can't, it's better to be a renter and to be able to call that landlord and say, hey, the air conditioner's not working, send somebody over here to fix it. So buying a home can be expensive, not only the purchase, but also the ownership. And so if you're someone that has a really low credit score because you're having a hard time managing some of your expenses and your bills, you're running up your credit cards, maybe you're not in a position just yet that you ought to be owning a home. So that's the first thing to think about. However, there are also kind of these circumstances that come up from time to time outside of your control that maybe is at play here. So maybe you had a significant health expense and that is over now, but it really set you back and made you run up credit cards. You were behind on payments for a period of time, and that damaged your score. Maybe you went through a divorce. Maybe you had a failed business. So all of these things can happen, and you say, oh, I'm better now, I'm recovered, but my score is still low, and I have to live with these marks for a long period of time. If that's you, then there are services that will help you to potentially rehabilitate your score, to bring your score back up. I can tell you of one that I have referred many of my clients to over the years is Lexington Law. It's lexingtonlaw.com. They're a law firm, but they specialize in fixing credit scores. And I can tell you, I've referred a lot of people to them over the years, and they do a fantastic job. At least my experience with the people I've referred is they've done a great job at knowing how to work the system, work within the rules to legally remove old marks. Some that were even justified, but maybe they were at a place where they could be removed from the credit score. In other words, they had, kind of reached a period of time where they could be removed, and they go in and do all of those things. And I've seen them take credit scores from 500 to 750, right? And so, and by the way, they're very reasonable on what they charge to do this. So if you're in that position, then maybe look at a company like that, and they can work with you over a period of maybe 6 months to a year, something like this, to try to rehab your score and get that score back up to a position where you can now qualify to purchase the home, car, whatever it is you're trying to purchase. So look at both of those, right? Look at your own situation and really be honest with yourself and say, can I afford to own a home? Is this a good decision right now? And if that is the case, then maybe work with someone like Lexington Law, repair your score, get to a position where you can qualify for the best mortgage on the best terms, the lowest rate to buy the house that you want to buy.